In the more than 5,000 miles that we have traveled, we have seen some incredible things and been some beautiful places. But just because you're having the trip of a lifetime doesn't mean that life isn't still coming at you a million miles an hour. And when we got to the Bighorn National Forest, I found myself struggling in a way that I had not expected. When we left Riverton, Wyoming, we weren't planning on stopping in the Bighorn Mountains. We were going to keep pushing right through to Gillette, Wyoming. But when we saw them, we could not pass up on the opportunity to stay in such a beautiful place. And as it turned out, it was a good thing that we stopped. I'm going to be real and honest here because I think it's the right thing to do. While we were in the Bighorns, I began heavily questioning my identity as a creator and my creative process, and I was having a really, really hard time. There are moments in all of our lives where we're called to step outside of ourselves and push the ego aside so that we can continue to move forward and change and evolve through life. It's a necessary part of living on this planet, but it doesn't mean that when those moments come, it isn't a tremendous challenge to push through them and work through it all. I made the decision to take charge of my life and push my ego aside and do some things that really needed to be done. And I don't regret that in the slightest, but it left me feeling a little bit shaken, and in a very real way, it felt like a little bit of an ego death. Like I lost a part of my identity and I wasn't sure how to move forward. It was a heavy, heavy thing to be dealing with in the middle of nowhere, even as beautiful a place as the Bighorns.
Better.
And of course, because my sense of identity and how I perceive myself is so closely tied into how I express myself creatively, it's really not a surprise that I was struggling with even just picking up my camera. I even went as far as considering giving up YouTube. And although I could probably live without the platform, I know that I would miss creating videos, simply because I have come to love the creative process so much. And life challenges and changes aside, I don't think that that will ever change. It's 10 after 6 in the morning, and we woke up to walk up this giant hill. The road that we're on is way back there, to watch the sunset because it's our last full day here in the Bighorns. And if that doesn't get your blood flowing and your heart pumping, I really don't know what will. I feel more awake than if I had just had 2 or 3 cups of coffee, and the clouds are starting to turn pink, so I think this is going to be well worth the effort. Once again, I'll be honest and admit that I went through a lot of emotional pain in that place. But at the same time, when it was all said and done, I found a lot of healing too. And I firmly believe that a lot of it was facilitated simply by being surrounded by nature, by being surrounded by rocks and trees and sky and water and birds and sagebrush and wind. And I don't know if I would have had the same experience anywhere else. I don't ever want to sugarcoat things or create the illusion that I'm not just like everybody else with challenges and struggles and things that I have to overcome and moments of dying unto myself so that I can continue forward becoming the person that I'm supposed to become. None of us can avoid it, it's just a part of living life. And although I definitely wasn't planning on having a bit of an emotional breakdown in the middle of the trip, I can't help but wonder if there was a bit of divine planning there too, because out of everywhere that I could have experienced something like that, what better place than somewhere like the Bighorns, where I had the time and the space to be able to work through something like that and find the silver linings and come out on the other side. This was not the first time, and it won't be the last time that I find myself struggling. But every single time I go through and overcome something like this, I am reminded of just how resilient I am and how no matter how dark it might be in the moment, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. It's our last sunset here, and I'm just out here trying to soak it up and enjoy it because I am really going to miss this place. It's just really a special place. Out of everywhere that we've been, the Bighorns have been my number one, closely followed by Medicine Bow, but I'm gonna miss it a lot.
Something for me. Then he kept walking on down the road, and I watched him disappear like smoke. And I
hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps my channel out. And give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people see it too. And I hope that I'll see you for the next video.
You'll be fine. I know